everybody and welcome back to my wrap up for May and June. I'm sorry I didn't do one in May. I just kind of felt like I didn't read very many books, but I definitely read more books in May than I did in June. And actually May wasn't too bad. I don't know why. I didn't think I looked at the ones I'd actually read and just thought, oh, I didn't read much in May, but actually I did. But in June, June wasn't the best reading month for me, but hopefully July will be okay. And yes, I am outside because it's so very hot today. But anyway, let's just get right into it. So the first book I read in May was definitely my favourite book in this whole pile, and it is the fourth book in the Percy Jackson series, which is Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. It's my absolute favourite of the series so far. I haven't read the 5th one yet, but I probably be reading it this month or next. I just loved this one. If you've never read the Percy Jackson series, it's definitely worth it. I've loved the others, but this one, I just loved this one so much. Obviously I can't tell you too much about it because it is the 4th book in a series, but it was my favourite. It was so fun, so action-packed, funny, adventurous. It was just they're all funny and adventurous, and you know, so many different things go on, but this one was just the best. I just loved the heck out of this book. Yeah, so I give it 5 stars, and I never really give books 5 stars ever. I've given a few 5 stars, but this one I just couldn't love it more at the time of reading it, and I definitely will read it again in the future. I'll probably read the whole series again in the future, but I am excited to read the final one, and then excited to get on to the Heroes of Olympus books, because I do have the whole series, and I'm hoping to read. Well, I probably won't. I feel like I read these quite slow, and I don't know why, because I really enjoy them, but I feel like I don't want to get them all over with, you know? But anyway, I was going to say I would want to read the Heroes of Olympus before Rick Riordan's new book comes out in October, but I guess because it's a different series, it doesn't really matter, and I just want to pick that one up on the day it comes out and read it straight away, because I'm excited about that. I love Rick Riordan's writing, and I also have the Kane Chronicles, but I haven't read those yet either, so let me know if you've read those. But yes, loved this book, so good. Okay, the next book that I read in May was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I got this book for Christmas and wanted to read it for a while, and I really did enjoy it. It was very interesting. It was, I'm sure you probably heard about the concept now, but it's kind of magical realism, which was fine. I really enjoyed, but I gave the book 4 stars. I enjoyed it a lot. I think I would have enjoyed it more if there's something in the book, which I can't really tell you because it'll spoil it, but there's something in the book that I feel like everyone else will be fine with, but for me it kind of touches on like one of my like fears, right? And it kind of bothered me reading the book, and I found it difficult to read because of that. And so even though I still read this book in a couple of days, and it was, you know, it's really quite short, and I read it really quick and I was enjoying it, and I kind of wanted to know what was going to happen, and it was weird finding out like what was going on and trying to figure out, you know, what was real, what was not, what was actually happening, because it kind of goes to a flashback as well, and this man returns to his like hometown, I guess, his old house, and it flashbacks to this point in life where something happened, and these people who live at the end of the lane, and they're really, really interesting, the people who live at the end of the lane. It's a very interesting book. It's very magical. It's just very weird, but in a good way. But then there's something that just bothered me, and I couldn't fully really love it anymore. But 4 stars I still feel like is really good. 4 stars is a great rating for me, so I really did enjoy it, but I feel like it might have got, you know, it might have got the 4.5 rating if it wouldn't have been for that little bit that just kind of got me all like, oh. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this. It was definitely a fantastic book. I'm definitely looking forward to reading more of Neil Gaiman's books, because the writing, I feel like that's something that was just such a big plus. The writing was fantastic and beautiful. I loved the writing. So yeah, it's The Ocean at the End of the Lane. The next book I read was Shift, and I also gave this 4 stars. I gave a lot of books 4 stars this month, and I feel like that's a really good month for me, because 4 stars is really great, and there's a tractor going past, I'm so sorry. 4 stars is really good, and that just means it's a really great book for me. I really enjoyed it. 3.5 is like a good book that I enjoyed, but 4 is like I really enjoyed it, and 4.5 is like I almost thought it was the best, and 5 is like it's the best. Anyway, so Shift I also gave 4 stars because it was definitely very interesting, very unique, but me and my friend Jess did a whole book talk on it, so I will try and link that down below if I remember. And so yeah, I won't go on too much about this one, but it's about this road trip that these 2 boys take, and they take it on a bike, so that was really interesting, across America, and at the end it kind of goes back and forth in time. So at the end of the road trip, which you find out about at the beginning, at the end of the road trip one boy gets back, and he thinks that, because they kind of come back separately, and he thinks that his best friend has come back as well, to find out that he hasn't, and nobody knows where he is. So it's kind of like a mystery road trip, and it kind of goes back and forth in time, which I really like. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Definitely recommend it if you haven't read it already. The next one I read was an Agatha Christie book. Oh, I've got something on my book. Don't know what it is. Agatha Christie, the 450 from Paddington. I love Agatha Christie books, and this one I really enjoyed. I gave it 4 stars. It was great. The story was very interesting. I didn't guess it. You know, that obviously always got like a mystery, and basically this one's about a woman who is on a train and she sees another train go past her at the same time, and she sees, because you know, back in time they kind of used to have little carriages on, not carriages, little rooms on trains, I don't know what they're actually called, and she sees a woman get strangled. And she's kind of an old lady and nobody really believes her, and she goes to Miss Marple and is like, look, I saw this, and then she tries to uncover it, and it's a really funny, interesting story. And basically it also kind of involves this family, because there's this woman who goes to stay with this family which is near where they think someone might be, so she goes to stay there so that she can kind of snoop around, you know, around the village and stuff. And the family that she stays with is really, really interesting, and the story just, there's a lot to this story, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I always enjoy Agatha Christie books and I can't wait to carry on reading them. The next one that I read was another book in the series of Unfortunate Events books. This was book 6, the S-Stance. The R-Stance, I can't know how to pronounce this, but I know what it means because it even tells you in the book. Stance Elevator. This one was actually probably my least favourite of the bunch, but I still get 4 stars. The others I feel like I would have given 4.5. This one I give 4. I still love this series. It's a fantastic series. Can't wait to finish it. And of course they're making a Netflix show about it, so that's exciting. I can't wait for that. I loved the movie as well. I know a lot of people didn't. I really liked the movie. But yeah, this one basically they go and stay with these kind of 2 rich people in this really tall building. On, what's it called, dark, I don't know. Anyway, and they don't use elevators because elevators are out and things are in, orphans are in, and there's always in and out thing. They're very posh and very kind of want to be with the times. And, you know, I'm sure you can kind of figure it's kind of similar to the others. It follows the same kind of pattern, which I feel like they all kind of do, but I really enjoy it. I just love Lemony Snicket's writing, or Daniel Handler, but Lemony Snicket. I love Lemony Snicket and his writing, and I love The Orphans, and I just can't wait to carry on the series. Plus, obviously, like a really quick read, and I just love these books. They're all great. We get 4 stars. Really enjoyed it, but definitely wasn't my favourite of the series, and it was my least favourite. I think the others I would have all given maybe 4.5, and this one I gave 4, but still, obviously, 4 is still great. I loved it. It was great. It was funny, and you know, the adventure was still fun. Okay, the next one. I didn't even give a rating because I didn't finish, but it is Take Me There, and I honestly got about 20 pages to the end of this book. So you're kind of like, okay, why didn't you finish reading it? But the thing was, I had about 30 or 20 pages left, but I was not enjoying it so much that it was so unpleasurable to read. I thought, you know what, I don't even care anymore, I'm not going to finish it. Because I was reading it and reading it and reading it, and I was enjoying the first half, and then the second half was the same thing over and over and over again. We weren't progressing anywhere in the story, and it was driving me absolutely crazy. And I didn't really like this book at all, so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to read the end. Like, it makes me in such a bad mood to read the book by this point that I shouldn't have to read the end. But I read the majority of the book, and I don't know what happens in the end because I didn't read it, but I'm just going to get rid of the book now and be done with it, because it was just kind of annoying me, and it wasn't a bad book. The first half I really quite enjoyed. The second half I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. I felt like I was running on a treadmill. You know, if you're trying to run in one place and you just kept going all running on the spot. That's what this book felt like to me. So yes, I'm sorry. You might enjoy it. I don't know what was wrong with me. I just didn't enjoy it. Anyway, the next book, now moving on to June. June I didn't read very much, and I started reading, well, I finished this book on the, I think it was the 27th. So yeah, I read Cinder, which I'd heard a lot about and a lot of people love, and I really, really enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars as well. I know what was with the 4-star thing. Take Me There, I didn't give anything because I didn't finish it and I didn't really enjoy it. But anyway, Cinder I gave 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed this book, except from, I kind of wish it would have been written in first person instead of third person, but I kind of understand why it was, because of the prince and stuff. Basically, it's kind of like a Cinderella retelling, but it's definitely very different, and I really, really enjoyed it. She's a cyborg, and the world is just fantastic, and I really enjoyed that, and I loved the characters, and I loved actually her, you know, stepmother and stepmother. I didn't love them, but I thought they were really interesting, the stepmother and stepsisters in this, definitely different than the Cinderella ones, and the prince was wonderful. I loved the prince. And if I'm talking fast, I'm really sorry, my camera just cut out and said unable to film because it's too hot, like the camera got too hot, so that's how hot it is. My camera is getting too hot, and we're in the shade. So yeah, sorry. The Queen, Levana, is that her name? She was just, they've obviously done a standalone book about her, so I'm kind of interested to read that. I'm definitely going to carry on with the series. Can't wait to read Scarlet, which I have. And I think I'm most actually looking forward to Cress, and then of course Winter comes out I think at the end of the year, so I want to get them all read before that. But yeah, really enjoyed this, gave it 4 stars. Definitely recommend it if you haven't already. I think that it's definitely one that is worth reading even though there's a lot of hype about it. The next book I read is also a very hyped up book, and wanted to read it for such a long time, and it is Landline by Rainbow Rowell, and I've been looking for this book forever, and then I found it and I bought it and I read it straight away. I really enjoyed this book. It was very sweet, it was lovely, it was definitely different than other things I've read before. I gave the book 4 stars. The ending I loved, and towards probably the last third I just loved more than any of the other rest of the book. I loved the whole book, but the ending I just loved. My favourite part in this book, I won't tell you what it is because it'll ruin it if you haven't read it, but if you have, I'll tell you, it's chapter 25. That was my favourite chapter. I thought it was hilarious and funny. This book made me laugh out loud multiple times, and I definitely will read it again, probably closer to Christmas. I didn't realise it was set around Christmas. Basically it's about this woman who's married and has been for a while. She's got 2 children. Her husband goes to stay with his, just because she's supposed to go as well, but she has work. He hasn't gone for any other reason. He goes to stay with his mum for Christmas and takes the 2 little girls, and then she is kind of sad about it, and you know that she enjoys her work and she has such a passion for her work, but it's a bit of a tricky one being away from them at Christmas. And then she goes to stay her mum's and rings him off an old rotary phone, and she finds out that she rings him 15 years in the past before they were married. And it's just crazy. But what I loved most about the book was actually when she's staying at her mum's, I loved her family. The family dynamic was great in this book. That was definitely my favourite thing. I also loved, she had this co-worker called Seth. I loved the kind of thing with him and her going on. It wasn't anything like romantic, but it was just an interesting kind of situation. They're like best friends, but you kind of don't really know. And I just really enjoyed it. All the connections in this book were great. I loved the story. I read it really quick. I just really enjoyed it and can't wait to read more books by Rainbow Rowell. So yeah, I gave this book 4 stars. Definitely recommend you check it out. Okay, and then finally I read a book that isn't really a book, but it was the last day of June, yesterday, and I thought, yeah, okay, what can I read? And I had been looking at reading the newest one of this just because I thought it looked fun and interesting, and I've read most of them apart from 3. So I thought, yeah, okay, I'll read that. And basically I read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the third wheel, which is what I call the brown one, and then I've also got the green one, which is called Hard Luck, and then the newest one's an orange one called The Long Haul, which looks really fun and interesting because it's about, I think, a trip that they take. And I've read, like I say, most of these. I've seen all the movies, so I'm really looking forward to reading the newest one. Maybe not so much, is it on the back here, the green one, but yeah, I enjoyed this. Definitely wasn't one of my favourites, and I haven't read them for a long while, so I'm not sure if I just don't enjoy them as much anymore. Basically they're just like, you can read them in an hour. It's just like a fun middle grade comic kids book type of thing, but they are actually really funny little situations, and I still definitely enjoyed them. It definitely wasn't like, oh, okay, this isn't funny anymore. It was still funny and cute, but I just think this wasn't one of the funniest ones. Basically it's about a Valentine's Day dance, and I kind of find it funnier when it's kind of more with the family. I find the family funny, but it was definitely more kind of school orientated, this one was. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the one where they go on a trip. So I gave this one 3.5. I still feel like it deserved 3.5. I still read it just in one go, and I wasn't like, okay, this is boring, put it down. But no, it was funny. There was definitely moments that made me laugh, so I definitely think it deserved 3.5. But yeah, so that was Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the third wheel, and that's pretty much all the books that I read in May and June. So yeah, that's my wrap up. Hopefully July will be a bit better. I did have a TBR for June. I did not read anything off the TBR. So hopefully July I'll have a few books that I want to read, and hopefully I'll stick to it. Comment down below, what have you been reading? Have you read any of these books? What do you think about them? And yeah, until then guys, I've seen it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope it's nice and sunny where you are as well, and I'll see you then. Goodbye!